Bill of Lading Act 2025 Vertical Bar. What is freight claims and stoppage in transit? The Bill of Lading Act 2025 modernizes India's shipping, freight claims and trade laws, which explain the rights and liabilities of shippers, consigners and endorsers. One of the major aspects of this law is the recognition of the legal status of stagnation in transit and claims of freight. These provisions are particularly important when disputes arise over unpaid goods or when goods are still in transit. In this blog, we explain stoppage in transit sense, how the claims of freight are operated under the Act, and what the new structure for importers, exporters, and shipping professionals means. Understanding stoppage in transit. In the shipping law, the stoppage in transit allows the unpaid seller or the shipper to occupy the goods while they are in transit if the buyer has defaulted. This right acts as a security for shippers, ensuring that they are not left without support in cases of insolvency or non-payment. The Lading Act. India 2025 bills preserve this essential right, while balancing it against the interests of consignment and endorsers. Stoppage in transit, meaning under the 2025 Act. The Act clearly provides that anything within its provisions does not affect the right to stop in transit. In simple words, it means if the buyer fails to pay, the shipper may prevent delivery before reaching the goods. This right also applies, even if the bill has transferred the property to a consignee or endorser. It ensures that shippers retain control in cases where financial security is at risk. This clear definition of stoppage in transit, meaning strengthens trust in commercial transactions by giving shippers a last line of protection. Freight claims and the role of the original shipper. The Act also safeguards the right to make freight claims under bills of lading. While consignees and endorsees inherit rights of suit, the shipper is not deprived of their ability to claim freight. Key points include: carriers may demand unpaid freight from the original shipper or owner. Shippers can enforce freight claims to secure payment when goods are transported. Even after endorsement, shippers' rights bills of lading remain intact in relation to freight. This ensures that carriers and shippers do not lose their financial protections, even as property and rights move to other parties. Liabilities of consignees. When freight is unpaid. Under the Act, consignee liability freight provisions ensure that consignees and endorsees are not exempt from obligations. While they gain rights of suit, they also inherit liabilities tied to the goods. This means that if freight remains unpaid, consignees may be held accountable. Their liability arises by virtue of being the consignee or endorsee, or by receiving goods under a consignment or endorsement. These rules prevent unfair shifting of responsibility solely onto shippers. By clarifying the unpaid freight bills of lading obligations, the Act balances accountability among all involved parties. Practical implications for importers and exporters. For businesses, these provisions have important implications. To avoid unexpected liability, the payment of freight should be made cautiously to ensure this. Exporters and shippers benefit from stagnation and constant rights of claims, which reduce the risk in international trade. Logistics and freight forwarders achieve legal clarity when managing the bills of lading documentation. The result is a structure that reduces disputes and increases prediction in commercial shipping. How the Bill of Lading Act 2025 protects shippers. To know more, visit ddshipping.gov.in. Lading Act India 2025 protects both shipper and consigners and creates a balance. Lading shippers' rights bills remain intact to stop claims of transit and freight. When necessary, shippers have legal support to prevent delivery, securing financial interests. The Act ensures transparency so that all sides, factor, consignment and shippers, understand their obligations. This approach modernizes the business law, while the traders who have been directing shipping for centuries preserve the essence of customs. Conclusion. The Bills of Lading Act 2025 ensures shippers are protected while balancing the rights of consignees and endorsers, especially around stoppage in transit and freight claims. By setting clear rules on liability, freight and safety for unpaid goods, the Act brings fairness, clarity and efficiency to India's shipping laws. For importers, exporters, and shipping professionals, this clarity becomes even more valuable when combined with MTO registration. Together, they create a stronger, more reliable system for multimodal transport, helping businesses safeguard their interests, avoid costly disputes, and trade with greater confidence in global markets. Click here to check the list of MTO companies. 1. How does stoppage in transit operate through the 2025 Act? The effect of stopping is to allow a shipper to stop the goods while they are in transit due to repayment default. This means the law gives the shipper opportunities to mitigate their financial exposure resulting from defaults and insolvencies. 2. Can a shipper stop in transit after the goods have been endorsed away? Yes, the Act is clear. A shipper can continue to exercise its right to stop in transit regardless of any endorsement or transfer of the bill of lading, so that it has conditional control over the goods where payment is an issue and no hope of recovering that payment. 3. Who is liable for unpaid freight under the Act? A consignee is liable for unpaid freight under the Act. An endorsee is liable for unpaid freight under the Act. Through securing rights, the bills of lading, a consignee or endorsee also inherits obligations to mitigate the exposure of the shipper to unpaid liabilities. 4. What rights do shippers have regarding freight claims? Once a shipper endorses the bill of lading, they can still claim unpaid freight directly from the carrier or exercise their right to payment. This ensures that their financial interest is protected throughout the shipping process. 5. Why does this matter to importers and exporters? The principles of liability and payment in trade provide a measure of legal certainty that reduces risks. Importers, exporters, and logistics professionals can operate with more confidence, knowing the responsible party for payments and what rights each party has related to transit.